Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Zoom Productions, bringing to you the August 22nd, 2021 version of Positive Living Center's. It's almost a Christmas service, but it's not Christmas yet. I must be thinking of the Christ coming down today. But it's a wonderful day here. And so it's the August 22nd service, Sunday service. And so let's take a breath and get centered and grounded as we'd like to welcome everybody to the service. Everybody that's new here, we're glad you found us if you're new. And if you're not, glad you came back again. I just love this community. I love seeing everybody's happy smiles. I love seeing everybody's open hearts and the love that just showers everybody. I love seeing Cedar appear from Ireland. It's always nice just to see all the welcoming hearts and hands. Thank you all for being here today. Today is August 22nd, the year of manifesting. And our themes for today, or for this month, are that thoughts are always thinking. Creative mind is always creating. And we are always attracting. So with that in mind, let's just settle back, kind of become heart-centered. Close your eyes. And just kind of let your heart sink and your mind sink into that love space of meditation while we listen to Cedar play us some music straight from Ireland. And she'll need to unmute, of course, so that we can hear her with all her wonderful glory. Thank you. As the dancing notes of the flute remind us to take time for the dancing notes in our hearts. As the flute spirals around in its song, so it reminds us to become one with the song and spiral down into the heart space within us. The flute is a great way to remind us to take time to sing and dance, always to be heart-centered within the song and dance of God's source. Make time today to be one with the dance, to be one with the song, to be one with God, knowing that when you follow the song and the dance into the heart, that all is truly well and in divine order. And in hearing the song and the dance, we truly know that all is well. And so we let it be so, and so it is. Thank you so much, Cedar. That was wonderful. And now for our spiritual thought for the day, Joe Poole has another great thought for us to ponder on. Joe.
Well, good morning. I hope it's a great thought for you. It's true. We're always thinking, we're always creating, we're always attracting to us. So why not put those thoughts to good use versus a negative use? We are always manifesting, right? So we need to be careful what we are wanting, and thinking about. We decide what we want, we move toward that and put it into action. That's who we are. The outcome of our actions depends on our effort toward something. Our peace and happiness comes from within us. That is where it all starts, from within. We cannot expect or demand that someone else make us happy. That wouldn't be fair, right? We lift our spirits with God connection. And then we're ready to share our joy with another person. Something as simple as going shopping for groceries. I don't like shopping for groceries. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I want to change my attitude toward it so that it's more pleasant. So I don't go being in a cranky mood toward others that are bustling through and getting the things they need as well. I have found that if I take a moment to pray up before a store experience, it actually goes well. And I'm really enjoying the experience because I'm attracting a positive experience. All thought is creative, isn't it? I believe God planted this in us all. Whether we use this gift is up to us, good or bad. It's a choice. We are all free. Freedom is within us, everyone, no matter the circumstances. The Dalai Lama said that we decide our lives. We are free, even if we are imprisoned, physically imprisoned, we are still free from within. No one can take our freedom from us, no matter the circumstances. I have known people who are imprisoned in their minds, feeling they cannot break free of their circumstances. And I still pray with them today. We're constantly working on releasing and knowing how to let go of those things. The great inner voice with us all points the way for us toward freedom. It is our right, according to God. It is up to us to make the great discoveries. Thoughts are always thinking. Thus, life and the study of life, the nature of law, are governed and directed by thought. God is right in the middle of the law. God is in, through, around, and for us always. Even in the most difficult of circumstances, such as what's going on around our world today in Afghanistan and all concerns there. When we trust the universe, we will be happy, prosperous, and well. The truth sets us free to enjoy all in life. We know that all of us are part of the manifestation of this eternal and changeless intelligence. As I've already said, we go within with God, and then we are ready to share our joy with another wherever we are. We're ready to listen, to support, and to help someone who is looking for direction. In regards to these big events such as Afghanistan. What can I do as one person against all these things going on around me that's causing stress and concern? In this physical world, of course I am. So what can I do? I can listen to someone who needs an ear. I can pray. I can meditate to keep remind everyone to embrace inner peace and love. Our inner peace and love cannot be taken from us, no matter the circumstances. And yes, I continue my prayers toward everything that's going on in the world, including Afghanistan. No one can take our peace and happiness from us. The Dalai Lama has said this many, many times, and I believe it, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And so it is. Yeah, it's, I had a friend one time that wanted to go and fight for peace. And I said, you can't fight for peace. It's still the energy of war. And so it's like you said, you have to have the peace inside you. So as we look at things happening in Afghanistan or anywhere in the world, it's finding that point of peace, however we can within ourselves, and knowing that we are each doing our own part of radiating peace and healing it within ourselves. And that's how we start seeing it out picture. Thank you so much for that thought, Joe. Thank you. And now some more wonderful music from Cedar. You have just continued to get better and better. That is wonderful. Thank you so much. It makes me want to dance. You know, it's so I don't think that everybody at PLC would really want to see me get up on my here to dance, but but that's what it makes you feel inside. Joy, joy, joy. Thank you so much. And now our wonderful speaker for today, the Reverend Jenny Evans. Jenny.
Good morning. Cedar, you remind me of, I think it's Hafiz, Kimberly may know, when he said, we are the hole in the flute through which the divine wind blows. Is that is that how you say that?
That's great. That's a great quote.
Mm-hmm. So it's something to that effect. I'd have to research it for you, but it's something very similar to that. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here this morning. It's always a privilege. And, and I always felt it was such an honor to be associated with such a beautiful group of souls. More apparent to me how very special we are. And I'm so very grateful to Zoom and the internet for the opportunities to still join all of you who I love dearly. The one word that immediately jumped out at me as I was looking at the topics this month was the word always. Thoughts are always thinking. Creative mind is always creative. And we are always attracting. I came across a spiritual teacher recently. Her name is Shakti Katerina Maggi. She is from Sicily and she's in her 40s. And I was listening in on a British broadcast called Scientists and Mystics. And it was a series of speakers that they had put together to talk about the issues of the earth, what was going on. And it was quite moving, especially the one on dolphins. But Shakti Katerina Maggi had her own section of that. And I was quite moved at her understanding of oneness. She put it in ways that were so very simple to understand. And I was absolutely in awe of this young woman who grasped this concept of oneness. And one of the things that she shared that I hope I can adequately explain that she said so simply was that it's like we're all in one building. But because we are individual aspects of all that is, we all have our each individual window that we look out of the one building with, that we had our own viewpoint to see out of our window. But I wanted to share something that I came across that's very appropriate for my talk this morning. So I'm going to read you one of her quotes on her podcast. If you go and look at her on Facebook or YouTube or her site, she has quotes, and this one really spoke to me and I want to share it this morning. It's called Open Your Heart. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't what your mind tells you about how it should have been. Open your heart. Allow yourself to see those errors and mistakes as the only necessary way to show you how those ideas about you and the world did not bring you any joy but suffering. If you hadn't made those mistakes, those ideas would have remained forever. And instead, this wonderful humanity ripped your heart out, creating pain for a while. They were these cages that kept your heart closed to give you pain. They prevented you from seeing that opening that the mind calls fragility and vulnerability. Open your heart without ifs and buts, without explanation or justification. The perfection of everything is revealed when judgment is suspended, and nothing remains except this moment that asks nothing from you, not even to love it. It is love. It is you. Make mistakes and then make mistakes again, because it is from your mistakes that you break the illusion that everything must be as you thought it should be. Light emerges exactly from those wounds. So I rewrote the topics today to sort of fit what I wanted to share with you this morning. And so it goes like this. Creative mind is always creating opportunities in the way of thoughts that are always appearing in my thinking, attracting opportunities for me to grow spiritually, to know and accept lovingly who I am, what all humanity in fact is, and what all life forms and what life itself is, and how I am a part of that. I am a sacred, divine part of that always. So I had an epiphany this last week that I really wanted to share with you. In fact, recently, for whatever reason, Spirit knows and I don't, I have had some deep pockets of woundedness that have been coming up for me to look at and, and work on to heal things that I haven't maybe thought about in 10 years plus. And I just want to thank our darling Sandy West for being there for me. She's always been there for me. And she helps me to correct my thinking and my seeing of those situations, to help me get a better perspective on it. Because sometimes it's kind of like, it's kind of like when you're walking the dog and all of a sudden she goes one way and you go another, and all of a sudden you've got this leash all wrapped around your feet and you could fall if you didn't stop and untangle yourself. Well, that's sort of the way my thinking gets sometimes. It's like this leash wrapped around my feet. So I need somebody to help me unravel myself so that I can get a clearer perspective about what it's presenting itself for. So I had, I mentioned Shakti's quote because as I'm finishing up this course in animal communication, one of the major things that we're learning is how to live with an open heart, because you cannot work with animals without this key component. And this work requires me to go in and clean out those pockets that are clouding my vision so that I can be a clearer channel. But to tell you the truth, I want to live with an open heart. I want those, I call them, I want the eyes, because when you meet people who have spiritually grown to the point that their eyes seem like they're as soft as butter, there's no judgment in their eyes. You just want to be swallowed whole by these people. It's like, that's what I want to look like when I get old, is to have these gentle, completely loving, unconditionally loving, non-judgmental types of spiritual eyes. And so it's imperative for me to live this way, but I still get triggered because there's still stuff in me that I'm still working on. And as the Course in Miracles tells me, people and life shows up for us in ways to continue to remind us that that we're still not healed, and that includes our animals. So I recently went to my cousin's house, Linda, and I asked you guys to pray for her last week. I was going over to house sit and dog sit for her for a week while she went to Denver to see her son and her grandchildren. And the Friday morning that I was supposed to take them to the airport, she was having difficulties, and she had a near-death experience years ago and ended up with a colostomy bag. I think that's what he said. And she was having trouble in her stomach. And so rather than take her to the airport, we took her to the hospital. She's finally in rehab, but she's been in the hospital for over a month. And so her little dog, her little 8-year-old Yorkie, who's sitting right there, if you can see his head, he started talking to me when I first got to his house. But to make a long story short, he connected with me very deeply from the first minute that I walked in the house. And when I was packing myself to come home after 10 days, his son came to pick up her other little dog, and Sammy was going to go to a friend's house, but he tore out of the house, jumped in my car in the front seat. And I just felt compelled to bring him home. So he's obviously still with me. But my sister and I, that gives you the history, but my sister and I were talking last week, and she had told me that she was sort of miffed with me because I've been sort of playing hide and seek because of my own lack of trust with God issues. And I hadn't fully engaged in being a part of the family. And I know that I've been playing hide and seek. But the thing is that as she was talking, she said, I said, this isn't personal. This isn't really about you. And she said, well, it feels very personal that you won't, really connect with us. And so I've been thinking a lot about it. I spoke with Sandy about it. But the thing that I want to bring up here is that when a couple of hours later, we put it aside by saying I just had hangups. And but a few minutes later, we were going to go to bed, and Sam was in the hallway, and he wouldn't come into the bedroom because my cats were watching the door. And he looked at me in such a way that it pierced something in my heart that needed to be exposed to me. And that was that he looked at me with this, I'm afraid to come in because I'm afraid I won't be welcome look. And what that reminded me of is the Jesus's parable about the prodigal son, that I went away to heal myself and figure out who I was, and discovered religious science and really worked on healing, have done a lot of healing work. And yet I'm still, I think I'm still get little and say, God, am I still worthy? I'm still working on those fears within myself that make me feel like perhaps there's just something. And so when I read Shakti Katarina Maji's quote on opening your heart, that I was able to accept on some level that my mistakes are okay with God. That my humanness is the very vehicle that I need to continue to have me walk the path to greater understanding. And so when I meet people who have very different views about what's going on in the world, I have to, like Joe said and Melissa said, I have to relax in the fact of not fighting. In fact, I was thinking this morning, there's a silly game that comes up on my phone sometimes. It's Project Makeover, and it's where you take this person and you make them over, and they have bad breath and bad clothes and all this. And I thought, if it was a Buddhist game, there would be no game, because in terms of Buddhism, there is nothing wrong with the appearance of what's happening out there in the world. The first thought that I think when I think about the apparent tragedies that are happening over in Afghanistan is, what would a soul need that experience for? But like Shakti Katarina Maji said the other day, that this is something that we've been talking about for years, you and I, and that is that instead of saying things are happening to me, we've been saying things are happening for me. But she added a new component, that those things are happening for me and in me. So my connection to the world is, my contribution to this planet is for me to do the healing work so that I can shine a brighter light, and more people are attracted to that light. And so we walk together arm in arm into a healed planet where perhaps we can hit that critical mass, and suddenly we all awaken to who we are, to the loving arms of this precious, precious, beloved spiritual being that provides all things and does not judge us for the apparent things that we do. At least I do. And so I'm all over the map, but but I really wanted to tell you that it is, what's up for me at the moment is continuing to honor myself, to look in the mirror and say, Jenny, I love you regardless of your flaws, regardless of what you haven't accomplished, what it is that you haven't lived up to your ideas of who you think you should be and where you think you should be in this particular time of your life. And just really bring it down to basics of being in the moment and letting God itself reveal to me what's important for me to know at this time in my life, and quit having these crazy expectations about something that if I actually had it, would I really want it that way? Whereas right here and right now, it is truly perfect. It's a beautiful day out there. My health is good. But even if I ended up with something like my poor cousin, or what many other people are going through, I would just truly would spend my spend my time praying and being and counting my blessings and doing the things that I need to do that bring me consciousness of all that is, and allow God, allow Spirit to continue to inspire me within my heart to be the very best spiritual being that I can be, to contribute to each person that I come across, to each animal that I come across that needs affection and a brighter light and deeper consciousness. So with that, I'll say thank you so very much for sharing with me today and being here. And I truly love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really liked how you ended that. Things are happening for me and in me. Heal what's in me to awaken my own light and therefore help all others' light to shine. Honor myself and therefore I honor all others. Let God reveal what's important for me to know in the moment. And spend time praying and count your blessings. Allow Spirit to continue to inspire me and be the best I can be. I like that. I like that. And those are some of the notes I wrote. Thank you, Jenny. It was you had some really nice revelations. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And now it's time for, there it is in the chat box, for the offertory prayer for you to join me. Love, divine love, flowing through me, blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. I love to bless. I love to bless. I've been doing that. God blesses, it's God provides amazing channels of prosperity for us now. And so it is, feel the joy in that. And that's what goes out, on your consciousness, that God is the source of our supply. And God provides amazing channels of prosperity for us now. And we allow that. And we give thanks for that. And so be it. And so we let it be so. So it is. Yes, yes, yes. And thank you all for your tithes, your donations, and in the chat box and in the iFocus are ways to send your donations in, and also on the website. So thank you again for all those that are giving so generously from the heart. The practitioner of the day is Joe Bull. And yeah, there he is. And also, if during the week, if you have anything you need, he's the head of our practitioner team. So you can also email him with any concern, and he will send it to our practitioner team with great heart, with great confidentiality. And let me tell you, the practitioner team praise their knowing to a great extent. And so please don't be afraid to get hold of Joe. And the team knows it is done for you, as you with you, knowing that God is hearing that right now. And are there any other announcements? Okay, I see no hands up. So next week's speaker is moi. Sandy decided I needed to put my toe in the water and start speaking again. So she has put me up in the queue to give you not a sermon, but a talk next week, or a fireside chat. So I will be talking next week. So why don't you all join me now in saying our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Reverend Sandy, if you could give us a closing treatment, please.
I just want to start by saying how grateful I am for Zoom. Just looking at this today, you know, we go from Cedar in Ireland, and then we've got the couple from North Carolina, and we picked up Jenny in Tennessee, and, you know, all over California. This is so exciting. So just close your eyes for a minute and feel that excitement that we can stay family no matter where we are, that we can come together no matter where we are. That in the times when we have hesitation or times when things aren't going as well as we'd like, we can rely on our family to pray for us and to listen to us and to help us, to nudge us, to guide us. As we all go forth on our spiritual journey, each day becoming more and more and more in tune with the divine. Each day allowing this divine potential to flow through us and out from us, making this world a better place because each and every one of us is here. The world needs us. It needs us paying attention. It needs us focusing on our connections. It needs our love and our open hearts. So as you go forth this week, please take that with you. Allow your heart to open, to look people in the eyes and to send love, connecting with the divine in everyone as you go forth spreading your heart. And I give such glorious thanks for that which is ours, and say with me, please, and so it is.
And so it is.
Oh, thank you all for today. It was wonderful.
Mhm. And Joe, could you put your email quickly into the chat box? There was one of our members asked for your email so they could send you a request.
Certainly. So how do I do that?
Miss-
Just-
Can I put my new email down here in the chat box too for everybody?
Absolutely. You just hit on chat, Joe, and it'll go over there.
Gotcha.
And Jenny, would you be kind enough to send your new email address to me if you want the iFocus to come to you at that email address?
I am getting it there actually. So, but yeah, but yes, please.
And then do I send it?
Yes. Hit return. Enter.
I would have put it there, but I didn't. I had taken down my email because my internet was unstable and I couldn't get back into my email.
Missy,
Uh-huh.
would anyone like for me to send to LJ for the newsletter, the Open Your Heart?
Oh, that would be lovely.
I will.
I don't see your email there. You want to give me your email and I'll put it in the chat box?
Oh, sorry. Let's see. Let me to everyone. Okay, here we go.
And Joe, I don't see your email there in the chat box.
Oh, direct to Jenny Evans.
Oh, okay. Try it again.
So,
Let me try that again.
Yeah.
but you.
Okay, Jenny showed.
Jenny should.
Okay.
There's Joe's. There's Joe's. I'm going to go ahead and put Joe's on my paper there.
LJ, where do you want me to send the Open Your Heart poem or whatever you call it, quote?
on the iFocus, you can send it to Joe and I'll get it.
Okay,
I think there's another way, but I can't think of it right now.
that's all right. I have those a lot.
Okay, everybody got everything they need?
So
No, I want to say hi to everybody. This is Abby, and I'm
Hello.
now in Georgia. Hi.
Hi,
It's
Abby.
been 1 month exactly today since I left California, and I'm settling in. And could you please reinstate me for the iFocus? I'm not getting it.
And the email address is the same?
Yes.
Okay. Will do.
Well,
Okay, well, thank you.
have a,
welcome.
is there anybody else? Have a wonderful week, everybody. We want to bless everybody and know that all is well and in divine order. And thank you so much. And we'll all meet together, same place, same time next week. And be,
Joe raised his hand.
oh, Joe?
just waving.
He's just waving. You can tell the waving. And we invite you to get on a little bit early if you'd like, so that because we meet and have a confab and have great conversation about half an hour before the service starts. So feel free to come on early. And thank you again. You bless us all. Mwah. Lots of prosperity, lots of love, lots of peace and joy for all of you. See you next week.